Hello, fellow pickers. My name is Mike, and I'm coming to you from the redwoods of Northern California. And with me today is not Carl. As you can see, Carl is still snowed in his house. I did talk to him recently, and he has enough. Potatoes and vegetables in his root cellar, so he's not going hungry. Don't worry about it. He's trying to dig out, but he'll be back with us soon. Until then, we've got Mrs. Tupperware on the show with us. Jen, how you doing?
I'm well, thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. All right. Thanks for bearing with us. This is going to be a little bit of getting used to, but we'll get through it. So on our last episode, you guys heard about us going down. We found the motherlode of all Tupperware. And recently we took a trip down to LA to pick it up. And Jen was with me. So Jen, how do you feel like that went? Well, first off, what was going through your mind when I came home and said we're going to buy $1,000 worth of Tupperware?
My gut reaction was that it would probably be a pretty good idea, honestly. I felt a little apprehensive about spending quite so much money, but it was for a large amount of things, a large number of items. And so I felt like we could probably be pretty successful with it, depending on what was included.
Because you know that when we've gone garage selling before, I picked up some Tupperware and you kind of looked at me sideways like, are you sure about that? And, picked it up for 50 cents. And then we ended up selling that stuff for like $13. And then you actually picked up some Tupperware too, didn't you?
I did have a really good pick. There was a moving sale, and she used to be a Tupperware representative, and she had a large set of mixing bowls. Basically, they nested within each other, and they were unused. They were practically brand new. Maybe just a couple scratches on the lids that came with storage, and I was able to sell those for over $50. I think, if my memory is right.
Right. That was a pretty awesome pick. I loved it. All right, so we're going to kind of talk you guys through what our trip looked like. We took off it was Labor Day. I had a work engagement in Lake County, and then we took off from Lake County, and we ended up at about 3, I think, that day. And we drove all the way down to LA, right? So it was 9 hours. According to Google.
It was about 1:30 a.m. when my head hit the pillow at the hotel by the John Wayne Airport.
It was a long night, but we took account of all the expenditures that we had on the way down because we want to really see how much we're going to make off of this Tupperware haul. But it wasn't a bad trip. It was uneventful. We got down there and got into a hotel, and we didn't have to pay for a hotel though because we had hotel points. So that was free, but there was gas, there was parking, there was food, all that kind of stuff. And then
there were a lot of trips to the gas station for snacks and for not trail food. There were a lot of trips to the gas station for just road trip snacks. So quite a few expenses in that regard with the drinks and things. We had already drank all of the things that I had packed along, so we had to buy extra on the road. What was the question?
I didn't have a question. You just interrupted me.
Sorry.
No, we went down. We listened to Jen Had a Book on Tape, and it was Spare by Prince William, right?
Well, I think you just showed your age, Michael. It wasn't a book on tape. We haven't listened to tapes in years. It was an Audible. It was Prince Harry, his autobiography. Yeah, it's the Spare, and the book was called Spare.
Cool. So we had something to do in the 9 hours on the way down, and then got to the hotel. We got up at 7:30, right?
Yeah, and I got a good night of sleep. I mean, we went to bed at about 1:30, woke up at about 7:30. We're out of the hotel room, I think, by 8 or so.
Yep. Then we got over and we're picking up the U-Haul trailer. We ordered a trailer down there.
We did have a little bit of a hitch there, didn't we, Mike?
Yeah, a little bit of a hiccup there. Got the trailer. I forgot the hitch in my toolbox for my for the Tahoe. And I also forgot the flat plug, the 4-way plug. So I had to buy one of those, and I picked one up at U-Haul, and I was kind of just scrambling as it was, and I ended up picking up the wrong flat hitch. So we go out to hook up the trailer, and he says, "Oh no, the lights aren't working." He goes, I can't let you take this thing with the lights not working." So I was already kind of like stressed out, and Jen's kind of, what are we gonna do? What's happening?
My
But
stomach just like dropped. I felt so just nervous in that moment because here we've driven all the way to LA, like southern LA, and the lights aren't working on the trailer. And I'm thinking, oh, what kind of an expense is this going to be? Is this going to be fixable in a day? Are we going to be stuck here for another night? But thankfully, you knew just what needed to be done.
yeah, I had grabbed the wrong plug. It was a 7-way plug, 7-way to a 4 flat, and I grabbed the wrong one. That it was a bladed style or something like that. You don't need to go down the details. But we got the right plug, got the trailer, and headed over to meet Gary at the U-Haul. I was so excited to open up that storage unit, man. I don't know. It was hard to contain myself. I didn't want to show too much excitement because I know it was his mother-in-law that had passed away.
Yeah.
How
It was really nice.
when we pulled up?
I was really excited, but I didn't want to act too excited in front of him. I really wanted to peek inside of the boxes, but I showed a pretty good amount of restraint. I didn't want to be that person that's picking through to see, like what's in them when we had already agreed to take them. So I kind of had to just be patient and wait until we got all the way back. And then, kind of the next day before we could really get a good look in. We kind of did sneak one little peek at a gas station, though.
Yeah. Well, we opened it up to create a little short real quick, and that was it. But yeah, we got there, and I talked to Gary and asked him if he was okay being on video. And so we actually got the story behind the Tupperware on video, which we'll share it over on our YouTube page, at Pickers Podcast. And then, so we loaded up. Gary helped us load it up. And I think it was about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock by that time we got back on the road. And we had a 16-hour drive from LA to Eureka?
At least it was nicer coming down because we had already driven part of the way on a different day. And so I kept asking you, do you think we're going to make it all the way home? Do you think we're going to make it all the way home? And we started off really strong. And then there was a moment where I think you wavered, and we debated getting a hotel, and then we had a little hiccup getting the hotel. So we ended up making the push all the way back home. And I think it was probably, you remember what time we got home? I think it was
1:30.
Was it 1:30 again?
Yeah.
It was probably 2, I think, before my head hit the pillow. And I could
Yep.
get to sleep.
Yeah, we got into Lake County again, and it started getting darker. We're driving around Clear Lake, and I told Jen, why don't you try to find a hotel room? I knew a hotel room in Willits. And it was the Best Western there in Willits, but they have a really steep grade to get into their parking lot. And then there was, when we pulled in and we're asking them, this was like 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
We're asking them, hey, do you have a room? And he's like, where are you going to park that thing? And he had no room for us to park the truck and the trailer.
It was a classic, there is no room at the inn situation.
Yeah.
We're like, oh no room at the inn.
And you probably don't understand, but the small towns like this, they don't have like night people. They have a person that's staying on site, and you got to wake them up to get a room. So I didn't want to bother anybody else. And it was only 2.5 hours left of our drive home. So I just decided to push through, and, we made it. We went home about 2 o'clock, and then got in bed, and then woke up the next morning, and I'm trying to recover. I'm trying to wake up, and Jen comes bursting into the bedroom. Let's go look at all this Tupperware.
I didn't want to go without you. That didn't seem like it would be very fair. Plus I needed you to move the trailer so that I could get to it.
Yep. So we got home on Labor Day, got the trailer around in the garage and started unloading it. And that was when we got our first peek at some of the stuff. Now, Gary had given us an inventory of what was there, 20 years ago. So I wasn't exactly sure that everything was still there, but I knew that there was 4 of the ice cream scoops that were in there. And then those what are they called? Rock inserts? What are the ones?
Rock and fair, yeah. The little
Rock
containers
insert.
with the, yeah.
I knew that there was a bunch of those rock and serves. And if you look on eBay under rock and serve right now, you'll see a listing for 4 of them going for like $4,995, which has to be in an embezzling scheme or a money laundering scheme.
There's something fishy happening there with that listing, but
Yeah, it's like the Black Diamond VHS tapes and all the Beanie Baby craze and all that stuff. But we started going through it. We started unloading the trailer and sorting it out. What'd you come across?
I was pleasantly surprised. Like you, I was questioning whether or not that the inventory that we had received would be accurate. I knew that had been made a long time ago. And, it's just something that's been sitting like forever. Family members might have decided, oh, I'm going to go over and take a look and take things out for their own personal use. And so, I knew that there were enough items in all those boxes that Gary helped us carry and load that it would be enough items to sell to make up the amount that we paid for it. But I didn't know, I hadn't looked at the inventory sheet the way that you had looked at it. And as we started digging through the boxes, I started to feel even better and like more reassured about the decision to go down and get it. There were quite a few, like what I feel like would be really good items. Of course, I'm slowly starting to make headway in getting them listed. So I guess time will prove that whether that was successful or not. But, there were just a lot of really good big pieces that are in brand new shape. So, yeah.
It was as described, wasn't it? He's got
Man.
all the good stuff in there. It's all brand new. It's still all wrapped up. It looks great. Really excited about it. And then as we were going through it, we're setting things aside. Jen had the idea to set things aside that we thought were going to be the big sellers, real quick sellers. So we put those things aside, and like she said, she's been listing some of them. So
my strategy was just to try to recover the cost of the Tupperware itself, what we paid for it, as quickly as possible. And my idea was that if we could pick through and kind of like cherry pick at least a handful of the best items and get those listed, that maybe that strategy would work. I am discovering that there is quite a bit more competition on some of the items than I thought that there would be. For some reason in my head, I thought that these items were so vintagey that there really wouldn't be very many of them listed. And in some cases, I'm seeing that is true. And then there's so much left, yet to process and to list. So this is a very, this is a very general statement. But so far, some of the things that I've listed have had quite a bit of the same number of pieces. I think where we can really be set apart is that ours are very much new or very much like new. So there is a setting under new that says new, and you describe how it's maybe not got all of its like original packaging and that kind of thing. So I'm seeing a lot of used pieces that are in good shape, but I think when people are shopping for presents and things, they're looking for new pieces that come with the paperwork and stuff. So
yeah, all of our stuff is new. I wouldn't list anything as not new.
I have a few items that I can't in good conscience list that way because they have unfortunately received a little bit of damage, and I'm talking very minor damage. They've been shuffled around a lot over the years. They've moved locations several times. I suspect that they were packed back and forth to parties quite a bit, and ladies probably were digging through bins, or maybe they were set out for sales at the lady's house. So some of them have like just what I would call scuff marks or little fine scratches to them.
Still new.
It's still new, but I just want to make sure that we don't get anybody disappointed. I've been trying to take like really good pictures. And I did write a really good disclaimer that is going on every listing that kind of explains a little bit about the scenario, kind of invites people to look at our other Tupperware listings. Hopefully they'll check out our store and see, because I think you could say the one or two pieces were new if you didn't have any of the paperwork. But when a person's making hundreds and hundreds of listings of Tupperware, I think that lends credibility to the disclaimer that I crafted. Because like, why else would we have just literally hundreds and hundreds of listings for Tupperware if it wasn't brand new? That would be a little impossible
Right.
almost. So,
All right. We're gonna have to look through those as we're going through them and make that call. But I would still list them all as new because they're all brand new. They just might have defects. We wouldn't get an is that as described mark
Yeah.
against us in eBay. All right, so we got to talk about the numbers a little bit. You are thinking that we're gonna make our money back. I am generously thinking we're gonna make $10,000 off of this. And then I'm conservatively thinking that we will make at least $5,000 off of this haul. What do you think?
I think I probably agree with you. I think we'll do better than recovering the money. I'm curious about how long it's going to take to do that. This will be our first weekend. Our shop has specifically seen better sales on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I have noticed for the pieces that I've listed, I've gotten about 80 of them posted so far, I think, give or take. And I have noticed that quite a few people are starting to watch the items. I think people get paid on Friday, and I think they do a lot of shopping on the weekend. And so, we'll see. And it just depends on if we've listed the items that people are really looking for.
All right. So how much money do you think we're going to make on it?
I really don't know. I don't have any idea. But I think that even if we sold them at a yard sale for $1 or $2 each, I think that we could recover the money. So I feel like it's
we're not doing that.
We have to.
No.
I guess, but I don't know.
We will not sell anything for under $10. If we get desperate, we'll start selling them at $10 a piece. But because we did the math, if we have 500 pieces, $2 a piece, that's $1,000 to make it back. So we have to make at least $4 a piece to make it back. And we'll go through what our numbers were for our cost to go down there and get it. But like Jen was saying, there's a few listings out there. It's not saturated. So, and I was seeing the pieces that were up for $30 and Jen was undercutting them by about $5. So $25. So $25 a piece. That's a lot of money when you start adding it up. Obviously, all of those won't go for $25 a piece, but I could see it. Like those ice cream scoops are $150 each. We have 4 of those. Those rockin' serves, even though they're not going for really $5,000, those rockin' serves, those sets, we're going for quite a bit. And we haven't even scratched the surface in those boxes.
No, we have not.
We're not Tupperware salespeople. We do not know what's in those boxes or what we saw. We did see a lot of really cool stuff though. Like Jen pointed out what's those thermoses called? The Funkos or Fun Color? The 2 thermoses that were in one, the multicolored thing.
Oh, I can't remember what that is called, but that is neat. It's like this retro pump dispenser that I think it's huge.
I thought you knew the actual name for it.
I didn't know the name of it, but it's really neat. I probably want to list that soon. It's like a drink dispenser.
I'll put a picture on the video, or I'll put a picture in the video to show everybody what it is. That was pretty cool. Like I was saying, there's a lot more in there. There's a full box of Tupperware toys that are all still sealed in the bag. There's the giveaway keychains that we saw were listed for quite a bit of money. Those are all sacked up, probably 25 of those still all sacked up together. So we're going to make quite a bit of money off this haul.
Yeah. And I think, I am seeing that there are all ranges in the price listing. So we're going to have items that are going to be priced, $9.99 to be competitive with the 20 other ones that are out there, because I really want people, if they want one, I want them to choose mine. I would like to start getting some of this stuff shipped out the door. So I am going to take a very, sorry for all the other buyers that have the same item, but I'm going to be really competitive. And I'm seeing that a lot of the items are really, $14.99, $15.99, $16.99, but that's still a really good profit whenever you break it out. Not all of them are going to be huge sales, but there are going to be quite a few listings that are going to be in the $30, $40, $50 range. And, those will go even better for us. I think it was interesting that we got so many things in the mix that I didn't expect, probably because I didn't look at the inventory. Like, you opened a box that had a lot of really cool paperwork type items in it. And I brought one to share. There was these little vintage postcards.
Yep.
And there's a little stack of them. There's several different ones, but they're very vintagey. And these types of things sometimes can do really well. I've just got them sorted out. And so those will be listed here soon. And I can't wait to see how those kind of go, because those are just sort of like bonus items as far as I'm concerned. Like, I didn't expect for there to be those types of things in the box.
So we had the Pittsburgh Picker on a couple episodes ago too, and he loves selling that stuff. So we might reach out to him and show him and see what his advice is.
Yeah.
Because I can't get postcards to sell for nothing. But my postcards that I had listed, they're not Tupperware postcards, and it's all kinds of fascinating stuff that was in there.
Yeah, really neat, like dollars that you hand out at parties that maybe like current sales representatives would maybe like to buy and use for the parties still, you know?
A lot of good stuff.
Or collectors, maybe.
All right. So if you guys want to stick around and follow us with all of the hauls that we're going to do, because we're going to be going through the boxes, and obviously this is going to take quite a long time to sell. You can follow us over on the Pickers Podcast on the YouTube channel. We're going to be doing a lot of videos on that. But now we have to talk about how much money we spent. So obviously it wasn't just $1,000 for the Tupperware haul. There was more costs involved. Like Jennifer said, there is a lot of stops on the way down. We tried to minimize them a little bit. We still had to eat, and then filling up with gas, man, hauling that trailer, and the Tahoe is already getting bad gas mileage as it is. So we stopped quite a bit. And LA gas, let me tell you, LA gas is super expensive, man.
I was surprised. I was so surprised, Mike. And the cost of gas where we live, because we live in a really remote area, I thought we had some of the highest gas prices, but I guess I was wrong, because it was sticker shock at the pump for sure.
Sure was. All right. So we know that we paid $1,000 for the Tupperware, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the hotel room, which
was free.
$0, because we paid for that with our points. We did have to pay for parking, which was $30. And then we had to eat. We had that gas.
Yeah, we had that unexpected expense buying the hitch and the adapter thing that you needed.
Right. So the hitch was $89. The adapter was another $20. And then we had to rent a U-Haul trailer, so one of the little cargo trailers, and that came out to, I think I don't have the numbers, the spreadsheet's not opening up for me for some reason, but I don't have the numbers, but I think it was $249, somewhere around there.
That's accurate.
And we ended up driving 1,557 miles round trip. That's what the odometer said on the Tahoe. So that came out to a grand total of $1,925.25 so far into this trip, or into this Tupperware score. Now, we also wanted to talk a little bit about that. We are small time, right? I just started the eBay store back in November. Jennifer just came on. When did you come on after leaving the church?
I think, well, I started in about April, I would say.
You came on in April, and both of us had never sold on eBay before. I didn't start selling until Carl asked me to start this podcast, and I agreed to that. And so I'm brand new to it. Jen's brand new to it. We've just been selling the stuff out of our closets. Literally, we've been going and getting all of our stuff. And then we yard sell a little bit. So we're getting up to speed with it. And then all of a sudden, the opportunity of a lifetime presents itself. So
I am grateful that we have this opportunity, because for some reason, the winter months, this just seems like a really good project for the winter months. For me personally, I was wondering how we were going to source enough things through the winter months to kind of keep the business, moving. We've been really successful with the yard sales, with the estate sales, and with the thrift shops, but it does take a lot of effort and a lot of energy, and sometimes a lot of disappointment when you go and you hunt and you dig and you're looking and you don't find anything and you feel like it was a wasted trip or wasted effort. And so I feel like
Part of sourcing.
I
Yeah.
know, and so I really like I don't love like how hard it is to walk through the garage right now. There's just boxes galore and they are stacked, but I'm really grateful that we can just focus on getting the stuff listed, and then it's not so much of a strain through the winter months to try to source other items.
Yeah. We got to come up with a situation after we take them out of the box and list them. We're going to need to come up with a storage solution also. Like,
Yeah.
because we're obviously not going to put them back in the box, right? Because you need to know where to go to get the item, like the inventory system that we have set up already. So I feel like that there's going to be some shelves being built in my future pretty soon. So
That could be. I think our existing structure, our accounting, our spreadsheet, our sorting method is going to work just fine for this Tupperware haul. I don't see any reason to change what is already working well. I think some will end up getting stored in boxes because I really don't want to spend any more money on clear totes at this point. But I think it'll be the larger, like the really big items can be in big boxes. There are a lot of sets of really big bowls, like really bulky, big things. And so I'm thinking that those are probably will just have to be in boxes. But the way that we number them and label them and put them out for sale is going to be exactly the same. It just won't be in a clear tote, it'll just be in a box. So
all right, as
oh,
long as productivity doesn't go down, because I will crack the whip if my employee starts dropping.
yeah, I don't think it's really going to be a big problem. I think I would prefer for everything to just start moving really fast so they don't have to hold on to things for.
I think it will, and especially if we price our stuff competitively.
Yeah.
And like you were finding on on eBay when you're starting to list them, a lot of people were making sets, and they had a rocker, they had a plate that went with that same color, they had bowls, they had cups. We could have all that stuff. A lot of it was like pieced together one or two pieces, but we have a full set. And if we can get the 250, the 150, 150 to $250 that some of those complete sets were going for, I think that's the ticket to sell them that way right there.
Absolutely.
All
And
right.
you know what? We have an advantage to people who are doing that on their own. The little lady that owned the Tupperware did some of that for us. Actually, I can't remember what box they were in, but several big sets were bagged together, and they didn't come from Tupperware that way. She was putting those together that way, probably in an effort to sell people gift packages, like really easy, make it easy for people. And so, I'm going to look at what's in those and carefully evaluate whether they should stay that way or not. But if it seems like some that are on the internet, I might just leave it the way that they are.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because I mean, she's already kind of done.
just because some of them aren't listed like that doesn't mean that we can't be the ones that listed. All we need to do is
Exactly.
find that right buyer for it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's part of the research that I'm doing now is trying to catch on to, everything runs in trends, and colors are especially subjective, right? I mean, people right now are probably in the mood to buy the oranges and the browns and the fall colors, but after that, after Halloween and Thanksgiving, people are going to start buying Christmas, and so they're going to be looking for the greens and the reds. And then there's also just the colors that are trendy. So every year Pantone kind of releases a color report, and some years certain colors are just more popular than others. And I think that's where we saw success with that gigantic bowl that I bought at the yard sale. It was a really bright pink. It was like a fuchsia, and this was the year for fuchsia. Fuchsia was a really popular color. So
Well, that's great. Everybody knows that colors are going waves, and that the more unique color it is, or the more unique patterns, that people love to buy those things. All right. Well, I'm feeling pretty good about this Tupperware haul that we had, and I'm looking forward to selling it and see what goes and what doesn't, and making all the videos. We have a ton of Tupperware to make videos on, so I'm gonna make a lot of shorts out of it and keeping it up. But until then, you guys are gonna have Jennifer on the show. We're gonna have her on the show for a while. So I think it's going to go a little differently, but I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you don't, leave a comment so we can see if we want to change it or we're just going to keep it the way it is. But we're going to keep giving updates on Tupperware along with other things that are going on, like different things that eBay's been doing and just different, kind of keeping the same format that Carl and I had, but we're going to talk probably Tupperware each episode and we'll give you an update on what's going on with the Tupperware. And with that, Jennifer, you are going to get subjected to Tupperware trivia.
What? I was not prepared. I didn't know that there would be a trivia.
You can't prepare for trivia. Come on. How are you going to prepare for trivia?
Man. Okay, hit me. Let's
All
do
right.
it.
So for those of you that caught the last episode, it's the same questions that I shot at Carl, and he could not answer these, Jennifer. So I need you to step up, and I need you to answer all these questions, all right?
I'll try. I'm ready.
All right, so this one's fill in the blank. Tupperware containers are known for their unique burping seal mechanism. The seal consists of a flexible lid with a central button that, when pressed, releases air from... Oh, I gave you the answer. That was supposed to be blanked out.
Oh, that's professional.
Oh, fail. Okay, burping is the answer. You got it right. Yes, you got the first one correct. That's awesome. I feel like that one was an easy one. So be honest with us. Would you have gotten burping if that was the fill in the blank?
Yeah, I would have gotten it.
Okay, I thought so.
I feel like most girls know that.
All right. Well, Carl did not know that. So you're already going pretty ahead of him on that questions. So it's a question. You're going to have to give me the mission that it was flown on. So Tupperware containers were used to store moon rock samples collected during what Apollo mission? It's a little bit harder. And let me give you A, B, and C. Okay. Just to make multiple choice, just to make it a little bit easier. I probably should have did this with Carl too, but okay. Is it A, Apollo 13? Is it B, Apollo 1? Or was it C, Apollo 11?
Well, I think I'll go with 13.
Apollo 13. Well, Apollo 13 never touched down on the moon, so that would be incorrect. It's Apollo 11.
Okay. Well, no.
At least I'm almost positive that Apollo 13 never touched down. Isn't that the one that they made the movie out of it, right? So
where'd you get this trivia, Michael?
ChatGPT made it for me, to be honest with you.
Oh, great.
All right. And for the last one, super easy. You're going 1 for 3 right now. You have to get this one right to pass trivia. True or false? It's a true or false one. Tupperware was invented by Earl Tupper in the early 1940s. He developed a method of molding polyethylene plastic into lightweight, airtight containers that would help keep food fresher for longer periods.
I'll go with true.
Yes, you are correct. That is true. Jen passed the trivia. Nice job.
I think I would have gotten the one about the moon right. I just would have thought that it would be later mission because I wouldn't think that they would have had Tupperware yet at that point. But if you started in the 40s, then maybe so.
I'm not even sure if there was an Apollo 1. I'm not up on my space history at all.
All right, pickers, go find your treasures one story at a time.
And remember, it isn't reselling unless you're reselling the vintage Tupperware.